Hi there, Zamir for NerdTube. These are my thoughts and spoilers of Season 2 of the Lioness, Episode 4, 500 Children. So as you can see in this picture next to me, Cruz is back. I didn't know if we were going to see it this season, but in a way I'm glad we kind of got her. The reason being is that new Lioness, Hosey or Josie, might not be the person that this particular group of special ops can really rely upon to do the job, because she's in too deep. For a start, she lied that she couldn't speak Spanish and she hardly knows her extended family. That's all obviously a lie. She does speak Spanish. She does know her uncle pretty well. And one of the reasons why she probably lied is not necessarily for protecting her uncle, but more to protect her immediate family, like her mum, her dad, her siblings, from possibly being killed by her uncle if her uncle finds out that she's tried to betray them. So that's probably the reason why she did lie. Nevertheless, she's probably the best person to do the job. There's not much time for Zoe Saldana's character of Joe to find somebody else. So not only is she going to throw Josie into the mix, Josie still just being mainly a pilot who has a little bit of hand-to-hand combat skills, but she's also going to bring back Cruz. Now the reason why she brought back Cruz is Cruz obviously being a seasoned lioness who's done this sort of work, can be trusted upon, can be asked to serve her country, and she wants Cruz to shadow Josie to make sure that Jodie doesn't, falter, slip, turn, whatever it may be, and gets the job done. That's pretty much the premises of the early part of this episode, because we get to see Zoe Saldana's character of Joe speaking to Nicole Kidman's character about what's happening with Josie and how she could be a liability and all of that, but once again they don't have much time, so this has to be done. There was a scene that in this episode that I found a little bit weird. Now we find Dr. Neil doing surgery, Dr. Neil being Joe's husband, and it's quite a graphic looking scene of with blood everywhere and organs being taken out. Unfortunately, though, for Dr. Neil, the person that he was trying to save ends up dying on the operating table. So we do see then Dr. Neil, who's been fighting with one of his other doctors as well whilst doing the surgery, having to give the bad news to the family who's lost, I think, their child whilst he was operating on them. And Dr. Neil obviously breaks down, but that's all we get from Dr. Neil in this episode. And it felt a bit weird seeing that scene. Maybe he can relate to the family because he's got kids of his own. But at the same time, what was the point of all of this? Are we going to find out more in the next episode? How being a surgeon is taking its toll on him, especially not having his wife around, who's too busy, going around the world saving the day for Uncle Sam. Who knows? I mean, there could be a lot more to this psychologically as well. So I guess we'll see in further episodes, but we could have got a little bit more with another scene or two with Dr. Neil in this episode than just having that one initial scene of him failing in the surgery. Well, anyway, as I said earlier, we'll see. When Cruz does come back, we see her snipering and all of that shit. My god, she had the biggest sniper rifle I've ever seen in my entire life. And then when she does come home, Zoe's there, Joe is there, waiting for her, and recruits her back, tries to tell her and persuades her to come back cooperatively, but because they are running out of time to do this particular mission, they need her back now whether she likes it or not. So Cruz is back into the fold. And this is the funny thing about this whole series so far, because we are 4 episodes in and yet we haven't gone to South America just yet. But prior to doing that, we have one more mission, I believe one more mission, our gang of CIA operatives have to do prior to Josie going into the deep end. There's some talks about some cartel members, and by the way, there's another guy called Gutierrez who kind of joined them. He was like tagging Joe earlier on in this episode. Joe realized that she was being tagged by him, and when I say tagging, I mean following her in his car. She's driving her car, and they confront Joe confronts him and finds out that this guy's part of the DOJ, and he wants to know what the fuck's going on with the CIA and why there's so much bloody military activity happening on the borders. So he's tagging along now, but regardless of all of that, the CIA tells Joe and operatives to go into this part of the world. To I think they went into Mexico. I wasn't 100% sure, but to stop some cartel members. And this is almost like a test run as well for Josie as a pilot in helping out Joe's operatives. And we also find out early on in this episode that Josie is not just a helicopter pilot. She says she can fly anything. So I think planes are on the table as well. Nevertheless, we see our operatives, doing their mission, and my God, the efficiency once again of these guys is amazing. They are stealth-like, quiet, superb, accurate, taking out a whole bunch of guys at night using infrared goggles. It's not coming out as infrared, but nighttime goggles, where all the bad guys they're trying to kill are like glowing white, and you can easy targets. And they're using a helicopter as well, just to make a little bit of noise around the area, so that people within these buildings and warehouses will come out just to investigate. And they do, and then Zoe and her goons take those guys out as well. Eventually they go inside the warehouses, which they've been asked to investigate. You can't interrogate a warehouse. And there's a whole bunch of young kids, and I say young kids, I mean kids and teenagers, boys and girls, I believe. More girls than anything. And it looks like they were held prisoner there, maybe against their will. Hostage, people trafficking, slavery, who knows? Prostitution even. It's unfortunate to say that, but that's a possibility too. Maybe a culmination of a few of these things, of all of these things. But they were held there, and because Joe and her gang they're efficient killers, but they're not going to kill these kids. They just let them walk out. But they've killed all the bad guys who were holding them hostage, and they let them walk out. But they were expected to find drugs in there, not people. So, yeah. And also, we also see Josie shoot the shit out of some police officers in their vehicles as she's flying in her helicopter. The helicopter's got miniguns on it, so she made Swiss cheese out of those cars. She was hesitant to shoot them at first because Zoe was asking her to describe the police vehicles, and she was finding it difficult to describe them because it's dark, the sirens are blaring and all of that shit. But she was able to make out the model of cars, and that's when Zoe made a decision saying, okay, those cars are probably police who are corrupted, who are working for these cartels. Shoot the shit out of them. And after a little bit of hesitation from Josie, she ended up shooting the shit out of them. She saves her crew, they fuck off, and that's the end of the episode. So as I said earlier, I want now the infiltration to begin. I want to see the seeds being sown and all of that, because we still got a few episodes left, so a lot of work can be done regarding infiltration. I really want to see that now. I want to see Josie being torn apart internally, or whether she can betray her uncle, who's probably showing her a lot of love and caring for her and taking care of her needs and all of this shit. And I want to see all of these moments, this psychological drama of whether she can go through with fucking over her uncle or not. This is got to start happening now. Please let that happen, because I am enjoying this show, but the setup's now 4 episodes in. I want to progress. So, even though I did like this episode, because of those particular gripes, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. But regardless, great show, love it. When they do the action scenes, like I said, the efficiency of these characters and what they're able to do, they are killing machines, literally proficient, efficient killing machines. And then they're not glory hunters either. They know what they do, which is probably why they work for the CIA as military guys. And they're not mercenaries. They work for the government. But they're very, very good at what they do. So, that's probably the best part of watching the show at times, is just seeing all of those scenes. Regardless, the overall aspects of this episode just made me want to start seeing a different stage in the progress of this show. And even though Cruz coming back was a nice little touch, I want to see these cartel guys, and I want to see Josie and Cruz infiltrating them. Alright, let me know what you think of this episode. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest social media channel you never heard of. Take care. Bye-bye.